Welcome back. I'm Randy Bueller. I'm here with Mike Flores, and we are getting ready for the semifinals. I hope you enjoyed the lunchtime entertainment. I know I did.
I also enjoyed it.
You were out there watching too, huh?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was painful.
Some of the plays, maybe not the optimal plays, in your opinion?
I don't know. Like, I can't imagine tapping all of my islands to play an irrelevant spell and then having Armageddon cast on. Actually, I can't imagine that. But
I can imagine you doing it.
I can imagine quite vividly, actually, now that I think about it. But, hopefully not on camera.
I thought it was cool, though. I mean, it was sort of interesting just to watch how much Magic has changed over the course of the last 10 years for me. I mean, you look at the decks that people are playing these days, and just the creatures are so much better than they used to be. The spells are weaker. You don't have, UU counterspell, W swords to plowshares. You don't have answers that are so cheap that they prevent anybody from playing any big creatures in their deck and any big spells in their deck.
That's really an interesting thing to say. We were watching the Tadimer match earlier.
Granted, they should have been playing the Necro deck. I mean, we watched that match, which was the first Pro Tour title, which, I mean, just the historical context makes that match interesting to me. I don't care if they played optimally. They had interesting decks. And
Tadimer's deck looks really good.
The guy who won the juniors, I mean, you saw a little bit of coverage there. The guy who won the juniors probably had the best deck in the entire tournament.
He played Paralyze. Like, Paralyze wasn't discovered as a Tier 1 constructed card until Regionals 1998. Mm-hmm. It was 2 years after this.
But yeah, the Necropotence was legal at the time.
Yeah,
there was only one Black Vice you could play at the time. Probably the best deck in that format was a Necropotence deck that just hadn't quite been pieced together yet. Leon Lenbeck ran it into the top 8. Graham Tadimer won juniors with it. And then over the months after that Pro Tour, Necro really started to come together. You started to have people all over the internet really comes into the story here, right? It's Usenet news groups is a place the Necro deck just kind of cooks, and people start piecing it together. And then this tournament was in February. By the time you get to the summer, it's still called Necro's Summer.
Thomas Gunderson, a top 16 player, actually, I believe, designed Lindbeck's deck. They were teammates. Okay. They had really interesting ideas about what cards were relevant and what cards were. I found it interesting to watch what cards Lecanto was willing to fight over with his limited counterspells. And players in general just thought like, oh, this deck's really powerful, this deck's really interesting, I've got to draw him. Because that's something that George Baxter said. And it's actually interesting in the sense that we watched the match earlier between Tiago and Rude, and he was like, oh, I don't want to play against Mark Justice. And Mark Justice is playing a Howling Mind deck, and he's saying, oh, I need to draw him. And then we saw what happens. It's like discard versus Howling Mind.
Yeah, the Tiago chain, the Howling Mind deck that Tiago and Antoine are running in this top 8 is
reminiscent.
It is very reminiscent of the old Vice Age deck that Mark Justice used to run, and it's reminiscent of almost nothing in between.
I think it's more reminiscent of kind of like Turbo Stasis.
They have kind of see that.
Exhaustion.
A little bit, but I mean it's not really trying to ice the board. It's just trying to slow you down long enough to punish you for having cards in your hand.
Stormseeker, you? A lot of the Vice Age decks didn't play for Stormseeker or anything.
Right.
Worth Wolpert.
But first for Black Vice when they started.
First PTQ ever won, he had a lot of Stormseekers because everyone else was playing with Necropotence.
If you have a taste for looking at imagining what the world was like 10 years ago, reading about the world was like 10 years ago, I'm going to stick in one plug for this guy. The book that you wrote, it's a compilation of stuff that you've written over the course of the last 10 years, right?
Yeah.
So it's called Decade. It's sold by Top 8 Magic, and it's interesting. I mean, if you want to watch sort of technology evolve over the course of 10 years, you can actually read all about it through one guy's eyes.
And if you want to read some really bad commentary, the first Usenet post I ever made was there. It's talking about how you should play Castle in
your White Weenie deck?
In your Orcish Artillery Copperhead deck and Acacian Money Changer. You could add COP White as well. So that you all these different kinds of circles to prevent you from being damaged by your own creatures.
But anyway, we'll get our one obligatory plug out of the way. If you're interested in that,
top8magic.com, Decade.
Meanwhile, we have some semifinals coming up. Pro Tour Honolulu semifinals. It'll be Tiago Chan versus Mark Herberholz in one match. How does that play out?
I think
just like the Antoine Ruel match.
No, not just like it. Tiago's main deck is different from Antoine's main deck, and Tiago is so much more defense than Antoine had. So
whereas Antoine completely sacrificed the creature match, you think Tiago's got some game?
He has some game. And the other thing about it is, from the other side, Heezy's deck is way different from from
Craig Jones.
Craig's is, yeah, Craig has all kinds of burn spells. Like, he can draw to shocks, and he has spare mana, and he'll just shock you. He doesn't have those. He has like cards like Giant Solifuge. His burn spells all cost 3, and he doesn't have very many of them.
Herbert Holtz's deck is a little more expensive. I mean, I think that's what gave him the edge against Zoo decks. You know, Burning Tree Shaman is more expensive than pretty much anything Craig Jones has got.
He has Giant Solifuge as a 4.
Right.
Like, the Zoo decks have like 1s and 2s.
And Gruul's goes up the curve to 3 and 4, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think that Mark still got the advantage.
I was going to say,
but I don't think that...
If Antoine had a 10% shot in each game, Heezy has... Or Tiago has what, 20, 30? Is it 40%?
I think it's probably... After boards, I don't know, I think that his advantage is slight. I think it's probably like 10-15% advantage.
Wow, so it's only like 55-45.
I don't think it will be nearly the blowout that we saw in the quarters. I think Heezy's deck is so much more vulnerable. And the other huge factor is that when Antoine would fill Craig's hand, Craig could just dump like
absolutely
a ton of one
drop,
out.
one drop. Get
Heezy plays
the
one card and then has spare mana. He can't even use the spare mana necessarily. Okay. He's going to be much more vulnerable to burn spells.
What about the other match? Craig Jones from England versus Olivier Rouel from France.
I'm going to pick Olivier here.
Okay.
I don't know what the real math says, but I'm picking Olivier.
So it's black-white aggro, sort of aggro control versus Zoo.
Olivier has a lot of random cards that are going to give Craig problems.
Okay.
Like Paladin Onvek.
It's not bad. Like protection from red certainly seems like it could be relevant.
Paladin Onvek, Umezawa's Jitte, not bad.
And Olivier's got his Jittes in the main, whereas Craig has his in the board.
It's really not bad. Ghost Council of Orzhova. I mean, if it gets to that point, obviously Craig's deck could just come out there, guns ablazing, and although in the sideboard he has cards like Guerrilla Tactics. I wonder if Olivier will cut his
we can see Guerrilla Tactics versus Ravenous Rat.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
a neat fight.
Grotesque.
I remember, I think my first Pro Tour, I had a Guerrilla Tactics in my hand, and I let someone hit me with Hypnotic Spectre. I'm like, I'm really going to get him with this. And, obviously he didn't hit the Guerrilla Tactics. It's just to speak about, how people didn't really understand how to play Magic.
Yeah.
I could definitely see myself.
So you like Olivier. It certainly seems like if the game goes long, Olivier's got the advantage. It's going to come down to how fast Craig can come out and smack him around.
One thing I think that's a big deal is life gain. The Ghost Council does very kind of incremental life gain. I'm wondering if Olivier would bring in Tarashi's Grasp against Craig. And
it's got to be Jitte versus Jitte.
Well,
it's
telling that he has 3 Mortifies main, no Mortifies side, but he has room for Grasp.
Sure.
That's kind of an odd choice. Not necessarily.
So if he's fighting a Jitte war, he knows he's going to want to gain a little life?
I think that Descendants of Kiyomaru will be relevant. I'm not sure that he'll bring Tarashi's Grasp in. Certainly he's going to bring in Seize the Soul. This is the matchup where Seize the Soul is really going to shine.
Orzhov Pontiff should be good too, right?
Orzhov Pontiff,
I guess there's not that many 1 toughness creatures in this deck. It kills the Savannah Lion straight up.
Okay, plus. I don't think it's going to be great.
Okay.
Slay definitely is going to come in. I think Slay, Seize the Soul, and potentially Tarashi's Grasp, definitely
so you got
Descendant of Kiyomaru.
Olivier versus Heezy in the finals?
Yeah.
We shall see. We're going to start out on the match between Craig Jones and Olivier Rouel. See how that one plays out. We'll certainly be bringing you coverage of Tiago Chan and Mark Herberholz as well. A couple hours from now, we're going to know who the first Pro Tour champion of 2006 is. Should be a fun. We're going to know what deck is going to set the pace for Standard for the next couple of months as well. So stay tuned. We'll be back. We'll be rolling in about 20 seconds. So for Mike Flores, I'm Randy Buehler. Hang out. We are ready for the Pro Tour semifinals. Hello and welcome to the 2006 Pro Tour Honolulu. I'm Randy Buehler. I'm here with Mike Flores, and we are ready for this semifinal match. We're going to start out in the match between Craig Jones of England and Olivier Rouel of France. These guys have battled through 16 rounds of Swiss. They escaped the semifinals. Well, Craig Jones basically had a bye in the semifinals. He smashed Olivier's brother Antoine 3 straight. Olivier had a much tougher struggle, managed to pull out a tough 5-game match from Max Bracht, and now he's trying to avenge his brother, right?
I was going to say the exact same thing. This is like a revenge match. You killed my brother.
Yeah. Craig Jones won the die roll and leads with a first-turn Curdy.
Ooh, with a forest.
Off the stomping ground, yeah, so he's already got the forest to play,
How insulting. Plague Rusalka.
Plague Rusalka.
Go.
Not as good versus a 3 toughness Curdabe, that's for sure. Nice Arabian Nights Curdabe, too, huh?
What do we have here? Lion, Burning Tree Shaman, Flames of the Blood Hand. Bathe Light's going to be very nice in this matchup.
Savannah Lion comes down after the Curdabe crunch is over. Have you gotten a look at Olivier's hand yet?
We have not seen.
He's got an Okiba Gang, he's got a Dark Confidant, some land.
Ghost Council.
Ghost Council. Was that Tesa as well? Did he have? Yeah,
yes, he definitely has Tesa. But does he have enough
the full
land?
package of Mafia King is at least one. I think there's 2 there. Decides for Dark Confidant.
I think that's about right. He's just going to put Dark Confidant in front of something, I think.
Do you put Confidant or Rusalka in front of Savannah Lion?
I think you just put. I think you put Confidant in front of it. I don't know. It's unclear if it's going to live.
Craig plays
He
the
might
third land.
gang block. No, that
Smashes
seems terrible.
into the red
Gang
zone.
blocking. No block.
No block. Interesting.
No
I think
block.
I would have blocked.
I think I would have blocked as well. But level 6 mage.
Yeah, it's certainly hard to argue with Olivier Ruel.
When in doubt, level 6 mage.
Well, this creature's still in the red zone. Olivier may actually be thinking. No, 17 to 14. He takes
Maybe
4.
it's just because he needs a land. I think it's possible.
Burning Tree Shaman comes.
Burning Tree Shaman's such a great foil to.
Confidant reveals.
Should have blocked.
Takes 4 from Ghost Council. 10. Well, if you needed to land, he still had. You do what you got to do.
But should have blocked is such a great thing to say.
He had 2 land in his hand, so did not need the land.
Really should have blocked.
I think Did he want to? Yeah, I think I would have blocked him.
He has a superb block here. Now, if he has another black, he can go Council on Shaman, Rusalka on Lion, and then double sack, kill Shaman. He takes 1,000,000 damage on that, though. He takes 1,000,000 damage, and he could really be on the wrong end of Bathe in Light, which, I mean, obviously he doesn't know it's in his hand.
Olivier
And
takes
Tesa.
2 from a land in order to play Tesa. 2 more from the Stomping Ground, so Olivier's all of a sudden at 8 as Craig Jones untaps for his 4th turn.
Yeah, Flames of the Blood Hand is in Craig's hand. Craig's just going to crash here. Any kind of inefficient block, and Olivier's dead.
Not looking great for Olivier.
Pretty much.
Well, we'll see. Craig untaps Savannah Lion, Curdabe, Burning Tree Shaman. Meanwhile, on the other table, a bunch of mulliganing. Tiago mulligan once. Peasy going in for his 2nd mulligan right now.
What's your play here, Randy?
If I'm Craig?
It's definitely all 3 red zones somehow, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
I mean, there's no way he's on the wrong end of the trade.
Yeah, you just... I mean, there's not even any untapped mana for the Rusalka.
Yeah,
shove him in. He's even got Bathe in Light if something goes horribly wrong. He's got 2 Bathe in Lights, Flames of the Blood Hand, and Savannah Lion in his hand. So he can...
he's going to bathe.
Oh, he can go... he's going to Falter here.
Bathe, Falter,
give him all protection from red and crunch for 7.
Protection from black?
Sorry, protection from black, obviously. That's not bad. Oh, but the Savannah Lion doesn't see it. Never mind.
He doesn't have to swing either.
Yep. Take 1. 15. And
so 5 damage drops Olivier to 3.
This seems academic.
That's why. I guess that's why he's playing and we're sitting in the booth. Shove him in is not as good as
As
Pro Black. Oh, and Dark Confidant does the damage. Okiba Gang Shinobi off the top. Olivier dies at the beginning. That was the beginning of his 4th turn, right? He had 3 turns.
What about blocking?
Yeah, Dark Confidant dealt 8 damage to him that game. Bob Maher was working for Craig Jones in that game. And Craig Jones takes a blisteringly fast 1-0 lead. I don't think the back tables even finished resolving their mulligans yet, and Craig's already up a game.
Mike Turian told me the thing that I do worst, of the many things that are bad in my game. He says, I'm unwilling to trade a good card for a bad card. He says, I lose in limited with Mortify and Last Gasp in my hand, and that shouldn't happen. And Olivier had the number 2 card on the Japanese valuation list, and it aided him instead of trading with Lion. He would have been up 10 life there, right? Had he traded.
So what happens to these matchups after sideboarding?
I think it gets better for both of them in some sense. Like, definitely, it might just Craig's anti-Jitte weapons seem better. He has more Jittes. Hooligan's just a better card than Terashi's Grasp, I think.
Yes.
Like, it costs less mana and it gives you something to put your Jitte on. I'm wondering if he's bringing Guerrilla Tactics in.
Brainiac is asking if you had the mana to cast the Guerrilla Tactics in your story.
I had.
Yes, I heard the story too.
It's just, I don't know what was going through my head. I'm like, oh, this is going to be great. He's gonna take 4. But I would have directed it at the Hypno anyway, right? I don't even. All I remember was voluntarily taking a Hypno hit. Then after taking the Hypno hit and not getting the Guerrilla Tactics taken, and plus it's 2 life, you know.
Yep. Now the whole old school, new school thing going on this weekend is kind of cool. 10-year anniversary, the big cake yesterday to celebrate the Pro Tour's birthday. We're playing Standard again too. I didn't even think about the fact that you can compare those top 8 Standard decks to these top 8 Standard decks.
There has to be Standard Pro Tour every year.
You think?
Standard's the awkward. Like, look at every single Standard, not counting the first one. Every single Standard Pro Tour has such an awesome top 8. This top 8's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's a great top 8.
For the current crop of talent.
It's an interesting set of decks. It's a great set of named players. Absolutely.
The last Standard Pro Tour had 6 Pro Tour champions, and the scrub players were Grand Prix top 8 player and Kibler. The Dragon Master was the second worst player in that top.
A JSS champion in Kibler.
And he's a JSS.
Jay Ellerar is the weak link in that Chicago team.
And he's a JSS champion. Kibler's a multi-Grand Prix champion. And the other 6 guys...
2-time U.S. National 6th place finisher.
The other guys are all Pro Tour champions.
Sure. So, one of the problems with trying to have a Standard Pro Tour every year is that there's just more formats that are sort of interesting to play at the Pro Tour level than there are Pro Tours in a year. I mean, there was this... I think the Pro Tour got in a rut for a couple years there where every year it was extended in block. Every year it was extended in block. And a booster draft and a team draft. And so I'm really happy with the way the new Pro Tour system is sort of... We're going to hand roll the schedule every year and mix it up. But I think that means you mix it all up, right? It means every year you have a different thing, and over the course of 3 to 5 years, I think you want to cycle through 3 or 4 different constructed formats.
Well, you're always going to want to have a block every year, right?
Well, you can't, and you're always going to want to have an extended every year, so you can't do everything every year.
I'm fine with not having an extended every year. I think you almost have to have a block though just to showcase the new sets. I think that's a big important thing. I
think there are more formats that are interesting than there are constructed Pro Tours in the year. There's only 2 constructed Pro Tours per year, so I think...
Cut some limited Pro Tours.
If you have Standard... Anyway, that's the logic inside the company.
I hear you.
I've been in those conversations, and I think it's nice progress that we're not going to try to pick one optimal year, but instead rotate through and mix it up every year. I think that's the right answer. And I will say, I think this weekend has been spectacular, and I certainly intend to go back to the office and argue that we should have Standard in the mix as often as we can. But even if that's true, I don't think it means every single year do the same thing. I mean, because of course you have Standard at Nationals, you have Standard at Worlds.
This could have been a limited Pro Tour, and it might still be one of the funnest Pro Tours ever.
Yeah, I mean, Hawaii's a lot of
everything's fantastic. Like, before I came into the booth this morning, we started at 11. Like, I went out to the ocean and walked on the beach, and it's
still shaking.
It's just such a great setting. I mean, obviously the format's also very good. Good players playing pretty good decks, doing well. Olivier looks frustrated.
He got blown out. He just got
No,
smashed.
he looks like he's about to mulligan here.
Yeah.
He about snapped after his third card that he
Meanwhile, speaking of fast game ones, it sounds like the match on the back table has also finished game one. Herbert Holtz took two mulligans, Chan took one, and then what happened down there, John Becker? What happened?
It was like the dream zoo draw for Herbert Holtz. They had turn 1 Kurt Ape with a Forest in play, turn 2 Scab Clan Mauler, turn 3 Scab Clan Mauler.
Wow.
And Tiago kept a 1-land hand, never saw the second, boom, over in about 4 turns.
All right, so Mark Herbert Holtz takes a quick 1-0 lead. Thanks, Becker.
Sure. I think they go to 5 every time if they can get that kind of draw, I bet.
Yeah, Herbie would.
I don't know. It's consistent.
So the 2 creature beatdown decks up a game already. What do we get?
You think Heezy has the
I think they've
advantage?
taken 7 turns total between them. No, 4 turns each.
You think Heezy has the advantage over Craig, you said?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
More beef?
If it's Herbert Holtz versus Jones in the finals, I think Herbert Holtz has a decided advantage. He's got bigger creatures, and he's got Scarred. Scarred. I mean, Craig's got a bunch of burn, but like red deck on red deck. It would be sad to see the Englishman lose the red deck on red deck match. Somewhere Dan Paskins will
but
be
it's not a
crying if it comes to
true
that.
red deck.
It's like philosophically a red deck. Come on.
Dan Paskins will every time he's like, I don't think you should have black in your red deck, and like,
I was talking to Craig. At least he doesn't have any elves.
oh well.
Dan Paskins, for those of you who don't know him, has been a proponent of red decks forever. Red deck wins 2K was his deck, and 2K1 and 2K2.
2K4.
He's been building dedicated beatdown red decks ever since the English were the best constructed deck designers in the world, which happened, but it happened sometime many years ago.
A window of equal length of the Japanese dominance of the Pro Tour.
No, neither.
Anyway, Craig sort of was around through that era and knows how to play red decks. Those guys have definitely spent a lot of time practicing aggro decks with Paskins as their sort of philosophical leader. Some nice article. He wrote a feature article for MagicGathering.com for Red Week.
It was superb.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah, Heezy actually mentioned to me that he doesn't have any elves in his red-green deck. Most of the red-green decks have elves.
Okay.
And I was like, I looked at his deck and I'm like, oh, you have a lot of lands. He has like 23 lands.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, I don't have any elves. And he has, that's how he has room for Scarge.
Ah. I think Scarge is better than Llanowar Elf. Oh, Craig going down to 5 cards. Is he inspired by Herbert Holtz?
I mean, Heezy probably would like ran a lap or something. We weren't looking. He's like mulligan to 5, smashy. It's not that bad. Craig's on the draw here, so he's not really down any cards to Olivier.
Well, it's never good to mulligan 5, but to get it out of the way.
That's the other
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
mulligan to 4. Just floor right here.
That's why I'm 1 with mulligan to 3.
Interesting. Our spotter down on the floor is telling us that Craig Jones boarded out Burning Tree Shaman and boarded out Flames of the Bloodhand in this matchup.
That's exactly what I would have done. Flames of the Bloodhand doesn't affect the board. And Burning Tree Shaman seems terrible. First of all, like, it's a 3-4, right? But his plan after boards is to get into a Jitte fight.
Win the Jitte fight within 3 again?
Yeah,
and naturalize?
And instant speed removals. The Burning Tree Shaman, it just exacerbates his worst draws. Like, say he has one of those Watch Wolf draws that's like Temple Garden and Sacred Foundry. The last thing you want to do when you're getting into a Jitte fight is have a ton of pain you're dealing to yourself.
Okay.
And the other thing is, it's simply outclassed. Olivier's creatures are better than a 3-4. He's got 4/4s. He's got 2-for-1s.
Craig trying to one up Heezy. He's going down to 4 cards.
Don't kill me, look. Never mind.
I heard a couple mulligan to 4 and win anyway stories.
Yeah, I was about to say, Stuart Wright playing the same deck as Craig.
Yeah, it's Craig Jones.
As Craig, mulligan to 4 in the Swiss and destroyed Osip. Like, just absolutely destroyed him. And I think he might have been on the draw as well. There's Descendant of Kiyomaru.
I would have said 5/6.
It's like, name that tune. I can win this match with 4 cards.
An interesting thing is that discard becomes like 10 times better when the opponent's mulliganed already.
Definitely.
A card like you could have say a 4-card or 5-card hand that's laced together by a single card that makes it worth keeping.
1 Ravenous Rat or 1 Castigate.
1 Castigate and that hand's just garbage.
Well, 3 land and a Watch Wolf is a pretty reasonable keep for Craig Jones. Did not want to draw a 4th land though. Wanted a 2nd spell.
Thinking about it like this, first of all, this Castigate's going to take the Watch Wolf. Second of all, when he mulligans so much, Descendant of Kiyomaru actually becomes pretty good. What's he thinking about?
I don't know. But it looks like Shizo and a Gainju Castle will team up for Castigate here.
So I'd like to have options. I'd like to have 3 more cards.
Go.
Oh, he plays a Basilica. Uses up his turn.
He's really gonna.
That seems greedy. It's like he's waiting on Castigate until his opponent draws a good card.
He
but
has a Mortify.
just an interesting decision. Gets the Karoo into play instead of.
Does he not have a Mortify? I thought I saw 2 gold cards.
No Mortify. There's the Castigate. Gets a
Lion.
Savannah line.
Impressive.
Watch Wolf's actually pretty terrible.
Go.
Remember,
Should I write
Olivier
that
has
down?
Black Hand in his deck,
Mhm.
which is essentially a 3/3 pro white.
Right.
So, I mean, he can't even get in a fight. Oh, the great equalizer.
He draws Jete.
Of course.
Oh.
I'm a lucky man.
Olivier, why didn't
I'm a
you
lucky man.
castigate?
Says Craig Jones.
Could have gone better.
Well, I gotta get something. The game's not going well for me.
Black Hand can still hold this off. It's just a burn spell puts him out of the game.
It's not that bad.
Now, if all the damage is reduced to 0 from pro white, does Jete get any
I don't
counters?
believe that Jete gets any counters.
But
Yep,
at least
it
now you
does
have
not.
a chance to. I didn't think you would have. A minute ago.
Red spells like the bad players. This likes the bad players even better.
Craig with the typical British. Is the word I'm looking for.
Isms.
Britishisms.
Go.
Black Hand and Plagued Rusalka and Burn for 1.
Well, at least he's got plenty of ways to keep counters off the Jite.
Protection from, oh yeah.
As we said earlier,
On his side.
the damage actually has to be dealt. So not only does Black Hand contain damage from a Watch Wolf, the Plague Rusalka can just do blocks and get out of the way.
Wow.
Wow.
Craig Jones just drew a shock off the top of his deck. Wow. Laughing at how ridiculous that top deck
Very
was.
nuts.
Olivier really should have castigated.
Now the Watch Wolf picks up the Jite. It attacks. There's no mana for Plague Rusalka, partially because of that Basilica. He didn't have the option to leave a land untapped that turn.
Seriously?
Suddenly, Jite's got counters, and down goes Plague Rusalka. What just happened?
That's when cuts to now.
That was a ridiculous top deck.
Olivier should have played better on turn 2.
How does the game play out if he castigates there? There's no Watch Wolf, so he plays Savannah Line
Yeah,
instead.
there's a Lion.
Yeah.
The Lion doesn't even win a fight against the Rusalka.
3/5.
Yep. And you go.
This is very difficult for Olivier. The other thing that's bad is that the castigate he has remaining gets worse and worse and worse
Yeah, of
as the game goes by. He basically just blew his castigate by not casting it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Jones has cards in his hand. He's
No.
just living off the top.
It's just a poor play.
Watch Wolf heads for the red zone.
You can't really block here.
No. 2 more counters, and Olivier's down to 10. Oh, by the way.
Move the Jite here, right?
Oh, another Watch Wolf.
Move the Jite, yeah.
So,
Yes.
what do you think of Descendant of Kiyomaru?
I think it's interesting.
That card showed up in a lot of deck lists this weekend.
Olivier's only got 1 on the sideboard. It's not a key card for him. It's good because it offsets damage, especially from Bob Maher, which I think is a reason that a lot of people played it. It's got a big butt.
Tell us exactly what it does.
It's a creature that starts off as 2/3, I believe, for 3 mana. And it gets bigger if you have a greater number of cards in hand than your opponent. And also it has kind of Spirit Link when it fights to gain life. It's not a great, quote, beatdown creature. It's pretty good at, like, holding the board, I'd say.
Go.
How well does it hold the board against a Watch Wolf wearing a Jite?
Well, I'm sure this fight occurred many times in block. Jitte versus a random white creature from block, and Jitte always wins. So.
2 cards? Right.
2 cards.
That said, Olivier has a sleigh in hand, I believe, so we can see some excitement.
Ah, those sleighs have been working overtime.
Any plays that are exciting, I'm pro excitement.
Sleigh's the card that helped them get to this semifinal, and now it seems like it'll be excellent here. Craig moves into the red zone anyway, of course.
He's going to make him blow some Jitte counters, which is about the most you can ask for.
5-5.
All right, so he turns this guy into a 5-5, and Olivier is going to respond
Sleigh.
with a sleigh. Did Craig top deck Bathe in Light?
Did
That would be
Bathe in Light.
ridiculous here.
Checking if it's Bathe in Light. Don't remember. Now, this is a net like +3 because he would have gotten 2 Jitte counters if it had connected, and he made him blow 1.
Right.
I think
Each Jitte counter is generally worth a card.
Just the deck in the face and good to go.
When you're fighting against a creature deck,
Friendly.
every one of those counters is almost worth a card.
Oh, off the sleigh. Becker was watching his hand. It sounds like he top decked a Mortify on the cantrip.
Shades of Osip Levidovich. Creature kill that draws a card. Draw the card that pulls you out of your problem.
Investigate.
Olivier Ruel with 10 points of life to play with. And goes ahead and he mortifies the Watch Wolf. Yeah, mortifies the Watch Wolf and swings with the Descendant.
Now,
Thinking it was...
it's important to
I was
say
thinking it was Putrefy for a minute there.
to say why he would do that. Now,
Okay.
remember that if he's just going to get in there for an attack, that it doesn't profit him as much as just getting counters off the Jitte, because each counter from the Jitte is worth 2 life.
16.
Okay.
But when he's connecting with Descendant of Kiyomaru, he's gaining 3 life each time. Every time that creature brawls, he gains 3 life. Because he has more cards in hand than Craig does, and so it's been enhanced.
Well, Craig Jones has had quite the game here on a mulligan to 4 draw, but Olivier seems like he may have things under control now. Tesa comes down. Dark Confidant comes down.
That's a nice interaction. When Jitte takes, he's not going to let him draw a card with Dark Confidant, I don't think. So you have Tesa in play.
But with Tesa, he'll get a Spirit, right?
Yeah, it'll be quite good at brawling with the Savannah Lions that Craig's about to play.
But never seen him that scary.
Savannah Lion picks up the Jitte. I mean, does he want to try to Mise here with Dark Confidant? He lets him draw. Is that Seize the Soul?
Like
14, 15 now. Oh, it was Plague Rusalka, sorry. Olivier flips over Plague Rusalka, takes 1. Draws his normal card. And down comes the Rusalka. Does Olivier just kill the lion here so he can brawl?
He can't kill the lion if Craig doesn't want him to, really. And then it's a kind of a bad fight. I think he waits and just makes it so that Craig doesn't get any.
Looks like
Jitte
Olivier
counters.
might just...
Smash.
Yeah, I mean, he could smash, force Craig to use the Jitte, and then respond with Rusalka.
Yeah, then he's robbing the Jitte of counters, which each one of those counters is so vital.
Rusalka certainly puts him in a position to trade cards for them if you're right that they're worth a full card.
Easily they're worth a full card. He could have used one of them to take out
Dark Confidant
Dark
declined.
Confidant. Think about it when he has got any guy in a fight with a bigger creature.
Dark Confidant, Tesa, and Descendant of Kiyomaru all head into the red zone. Craig has a Savannah Lion wearing a Jitte with 2 counters on it to defend himself with. I'm sure he blocks, right? But what does he block, and how does he play the Jitte?
See, the The Descendant is full size now?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I figured then.
So full size is 2.5? 3.5.
3.5. He was gaining 3 life with each hit. Right?
Yeah. Does he even get to trade with Descendant if he blocks it?
No, you're right. The Plague Rusaka can keep the trade from occurring.
I think you fight Teysa. Get the token generation shenanigans stopped. They're making the Jitte worse, too.
He's in a really difficult position. Those slays have been fantastic for a little.
They have. They really have.
What do you think of Execute?
I think it's better now that the Orzhov Guild has come out.
I thought Execute was really good at Champs against Boros. Did the guilds get better and better? Like, Rule and Orzhov seem to be better constructed guilds than some of the Ravnica. I mean, Selesnya had a very, very bright moment in the sun.
Yeah, so did Golgari in Extended.
It's different. Like, Golgari's too good for Standard. Golgari's, but it's not really Golgari. It's like 2 of their dudes are like free agents for blue decks. Did Olivier rip a Jitte of his own? Oh, no. Orzhov Basilica. Oh, wow. What
Did he
great
just
attack.
not block?
He has a great attack, but I think he assumed Craig was going to fight the Teysa, and he has backup Teysa.
Hey, Craig just took it, right? Huh. Craig declines to block.
Maybe he thinks he can't win if he blocks.
Why? Yeah, meanwhile, Descendant just replenishing Olivier's life total. I'm pretty sure our board's wrong about the life totals then.
It's funny how good the Karus are in Olivier's
Yeah, it's
deck.
like 718 now, right? Alright, Craig tries to end the Rusaka madness. Olivier sacks his Confidant to try to kill the lion. Craig saves it with the other Jitte counter.
Should do it again?
Response to makes bigger. And so
Oh, it's bigger.
Yeah.
Response. Make 1 more token. And burn for 1, and it's 17.
Yeah, so Olivier responded to that by having the Plague Rusaka take out the Savannah Lion. So
Burning for 1.
Savannah Lion plus 2 counters traded for Dark Confidant and Plague Rusaka.
And 1 life.
And that's ball game. Craig mulliganed to 4, but came out strong. Could not get the deal closed. Olivier Ruel had more than enough to take control of the game, replenish his life total with the Descendant, and even that match at 1 apiece.
Hey, I put up a fight from full card hand.
Meanwhile, I'll try to get an update on the back table between Mark Herberholz and Tiago Chan. When last we checked in, Herberholz had won a double mulligan game to take a 1-0 lead in that match. And looks like they're shuffling up now. So for a report on what happened in Game 2, let's go down to Jonathan Becker.
Hey guys, Game 2 was actually a lot more of a game. Tiago managed to stabilize early with a remand and a mana leak and a couple of slights to dig through his deck. But I think this is what Antoine was talking about when he said, if you put in all those cards to the sideboard up against the Zoo deck, all you do is you end up losing 2-1. Because even though he has a lot more play after the sideboard, eventually Herberholz just kept putting on Scab Clan Maulers and throwing chars at things, and the game was over. I don't think the Owling Mind decks can keep up with the Zoo decks. They're just too fast and don't have enough removal for him. So Mark took Game 2 in much the same way. It just took about 8 turns instead of 5 turns.
Wow. Yeah, maybe we should go back and try to get a angle on Game 3 there, get those guys some airtime.
If you don't get that Game 3, I don't know if you're going to get a chance to see Game 4.
So you thought Tiago Chan would have a much better shot against Herberholz than Antoine Ruel had against Craig Jones. Does not seem to be playing out that way.
He does have a much better shot, but it doesn't mean he's going to win.
Like anything times 0 is still 0?
I still said Heezy was going to win. I just said he had a better shot. It's like Becker just said.
There you get a look at him. That's Tiago Chan from Portugal on the left of your screen. He's put up a number of money finishes on the Pro Tour last season. I think he's up in a Players Club. He's on the gravy train. Finally had the breakthrough to an actual top 8 in a Sunday appearance here. He's playing against Mark Herberholz on the right, representing the Beach House. There you get a good look at Herbie, sporting his RIW hobby shirt from his store back in Michigan. He came down to the Beach House, saw their control deck, said, "This is not for me. Give me the beatdown deck." He's running Gruul, red-green, no white. He likes the consistency of the mana better. Doesn't think Savannah Lions and Watchwolf are worth it.
And the size of the monsters.
He gets bigger monsters and Scarred for his trouble, and he's got a 2-0 lead over Tiago Chan. It's best 3 out of 5, so Mark just needs to win one of the next 3 games, and then he'll be playing for the Pro Tour Championship. Tiago Chan running the Owling Mine deck. A lot of people on Magic Online had noticed it before. Hadn't heard a lot about it offline, but I think it's one of the big stories this weekend. That deck came out. It said it crushed a lot of control decks. I actually think it's partially responsible for the beatdown decks that are in this top 8. That it was beating the Howling Mine deck. I'm sorry, it was beating the control decks, and that gave the beatdown deck somebody to feast on, even at the top of the Swiss.
I think that it's not really fair to credit Magic Online. Like, this deck is so functionally different from the version that's on Magic Online. The ones that I've seen on Moto are like mono blue.
Okay.
These are burn decks. They set up a twin cast turn.
Okay. So it's all about the sudden impact.
Yeah,
the
these
Cerebral
decks are
Vortex.
much better than the
certainly Cerebral Vortex
online.
just got released on Magic Online 6 days ago. So,
but even innovations like Adamaro and Sudden Impact, like the versions online that I've seen don't have any red cards. So I think it's fundamentally different. Like, these are burn decks.
All right.
Now, if you look at Tiago's hand, that how this shows what a better chance he has against Heezy than Antoine had. He's got 2 copies of Threads of Disloyalty.
Wow.
Like, 1 Threads of Disloyalty might be enough to win.
Huh.
I don't know is he forced. He can play a basic here.
Yeah, there's 2 Threads and Eye of Nowhere and 4 lands in Tiago Chan's hand.
He can essentially nullify Dryad Sophisticate and take Frenzied Goblin if he wants.
Yeah, Herberholz's board right now is Dryad Sophisticate and Frenzied Goblin and 2 lands. Tiago Chan has a Kami of the Crescent Moon. So, non-basic land walk for the Sophisticate. He only has basic lands in play, so Kami of the Crescent Moon threatening to block the Dryad Sophisticate. Oh, hilarious.
Wow.
Herberholz just put it in the red zone tapped and then realized what was going on. He almost suicided that into a Kami of the Crescent Moon. And now Tiago Chan is tapping his thing. I got you.
Alt U.
Block with the butt.
The butt? That's a funny name.
That's Turian's nickname for Kami of the Crescent Moon.
Turian's very clever.
He's a good guy. Oh, he brawls anyway.
He's probably going to use the ability, don't you think?
So, Frenzied Goblin's ability. When does he use it?
It triggers.
It looks like he's past priority. Yeah, he declined to use the ability. That's what I thought. Must be Scabcran Mauler. Yep, that makes sense. Really needed to get in for some damage in order to activate the Bloodthirst on a Scabclan Mauler.
This is going to be dismal.
Kami of Crescent Moon chose to pick off a Frenzied Goblin instead of the Dryad Sophisticate. Makes sense. He's not going to be able to block later if he doesn't get that Goblin out of the way.
Okay.
Ooh, Threads of Disloyalty, and Herberholz just shrugs it off.
17.
Because he knows, and we know, that he has a Naturalize in his hand. By the way, those Naturalizes are actually less good against Tiago Chan right now than you'd think, because Tiago sideboarded out his Howling Mines. Pretty sure I heard Becca right in my ear. Tiago sideboarded out the Howling Mines, and he just went for more control-ish elements.
So he's just a terrible blue-red control deck?
I think so. That's what it sounds like.
Like, I didn't love our deck's matchup against Easy. We're an optimal blue-red control deck.
Yeah, this is the metagame gamble. Tiago and Antoine got to the top 8 based on getting, they didn't run into too many Zoo decks. You saw, like, poor Raphael Levy went like 1-4 with the same deck Antoine Ruel played. And, he just shrugged. He's like, I took one for the team. I ran into the Zoo decks.
Yep. 16.
Second Threads of Disloyalty. Yeah, Naturalized nailed the first one, but Tiago had a second.
But he played Shivan Reef. Did you just not care?
got to develop his mana. I don't know.
Does he? He had a ton. More than enough to do with what he needed to do. He could have just gone sleight of hand and Threads of Disloyalty without giving Dried Sophisticate something to do.
Is Chan trying to get him to play another Sophisticate so he can Pyroclasm them away or something?
I don't know. It doesn't seem like he profits much from that play. There's that second Sophisticate. It's Trip Sophisticate.
6.
Here comes one of those Sophisticates. But Tiago hasn't even got Pyroclasm yet. Oh, boom boom.
He could have made the tech play of boomeranging his own Shivan Reef there.
That would have been much better.
It would have been more fun. It would have killed a Dryad Sophisticate too.
It would have been much better.
You just boomerang your own Shivan Reef, block Sophisticate.
He's tapped.
Killing a land, well, something about picking up your own land in order to kill a landwalker is just so much fun. I don't even understand why that feels so good, but it does. That's hilarious. I can see outside the booth a giant trophy at the feet of Quentin Martin. He won the surfing competition in the Players Lounge. Ha! That's hilarious. You'd think the surfing competition, it's like a video game, you ride the surfboard. They've been keeping track of the points all weekend long. I would not have picked Quentin Martin as the winner of the surf competition.
Who would you have picked?
I don't know, somebody from a warmer clime, like maybe with an ocean, with waves. I don't know, somebody more than 5 foot nothing, 110 pounds.
Look, what about like Pierre Canali, like someone who gets paid to move?
Right.
Like Maury.
That's not bad. Sure. No, Quentin Martin, Pro Tour Honolulu surfing champion.
12.
Congratulations.
What do you think about my idea for...
It's a giant trophy, too. It's like 3 feet tall.
What do you think about my idea for the Team Pro Tour with the General Lee simulator?
In Charleston? All right, another boomerang, picked up another Sophisticate. Meanwhile, Tiago is brawling. He just keeps attacking with Kami of the Crescent Moon. He is attacking with Scab Clan Mauler.
He's gone counter sliver.
He's trading damage. Yeah, he's trying something. I got to give him credit for trying to find a way to win a matchup that just looks awful for him.
And as far ahead as he looks, he's not really that far ahead.
No.
His board's not significantly better. His life total's not significantly better. I mean, he's going to get like a 3-for-1 on the Pyroclasm, inevitably. But
his hand is Pyroclasm Remand and a couple of lands.
He's got to go for it soon. I mean, it might be worth it to... No, he's just going to draw cards here, I think, actually.
Well, he's been using the boomerangs to try to slow Mark down. Yeah, I think he's setting up for an eventual Pyroclasm. Mark's turn was replay Sophisticate, and Kurt Ape. Oh, do we actually have an audience shot of that trophy? Quentin, hold up your trophy. He's on the right. You're just panning away from him. Oh, where'd the audience shot go? No, go back the other way. The other way. We're going to pan back to... All right, now we're panning back to Quentin. There he is. Surf champion, Quentin Martin, Pro Tour Honolulu.
Why not get on your chair and show what kind of moves you used to win that title? Would you have remanded that Kurt Ape? It didn't seem like it was worth it to me.
The board is clear now. I mean, the Pyroclasm finally swept Herbert Holtz's board, and
he's got another.
Tiago's beaten down.
And he's
attacking for 4 a turn. He's got Herbert Holtz at 8. He's got another Pyroclasm in his hand. Kurt Ape comes down. I mean, I think you have to boomerang Kurt Ape. I assume there's a forest in there somewhere. Yeah, it survives Pyroclasm, so you don't want it blocking You don't want it blocking the butt.
And the butt can block it right back, though.
Yeah, but Tiago's playing beatdown. Like, he's the beatdown in this match. That's what he believes. He's playing a total tempo strategy. His way to win is steal the Scab Clan Mauler and then just attack 5 times. Herbert Holtz just keeps trying to replay his creatures, and he's taken 4. He's 2 attacks away from dying.
Is that a 1-1? Mauler?
Yes.
Maul for one?
Frenzied Goblin, Curdabe,
Nope.
1/1 Scat Plan Mauler, and that's a Rusaka, right? I think that's a Rusaka.
This is going to be a mess.
4 creatures on Mark Herberholtz's side of the board.
Soon to be none.
Oh, it's a Tin Street Hooligan and a 1/1 Scat Plan Mauler. So Pyroclasm here, it kills 3 dudes, leaving only Curdabe standing.
I don't think...
And there's another Boomerang in Tiago's hand, so he can once again bounce Curdabe, Pyroclasm the board, swing for 4, and he'll be 1 turn away from winning this game. Or is there only 1 forest? Can he kill the Curdabe with the Boomerang? How many forests does Herberholtz have? Oh, he has 2. Or 3.
I think he just brings with the moon here. He can just replace the moon.
He's attacking with both. I think Herbie should block Scap Clan.
Unless he has the dream of drawing a Naturalize.
Tiago has that Boomerang. He can actually Boomerang the threads after stacking damage, Scap Clan versus Curdabe. And Herberholtz sees through it. Curdabe blocks Crescent Moon.
He's going to fall for that.
But
I would have fallen for that. Of course, I didn't play that much beatdown, I guess. He was always the guy with the control magics. Of course, Tiago Chan had a backup Kami the Crescent Moon. Oh, exhaustion. Wow.
Wow. That was like for whom the knell tolls.
This is crazy. And ball game. Tiago Chan wins somehow with his Howling Mines and his sudden impacts in his sideboard.
I told you he had a much better chance in this matchup.
With that strategy, you did not see this coming. You can't tell me you saw this coming.
I definitely said he had a better shot. I didn't know that he was going to take out his main,
a 3/3
main deck
and attack with it 7 times.
His sideboard has Maloku. He's clearly on a damaged creatures plan. He has Threads of Disloyalty.
Wow.
I didn't necessarily expect him to take out his Howling Ones to actually make the 10th Street Hooligans worse. Do you think right now that he's thinking about his 10th Street Hooligans and how optimal they might be?
No, he just didn't draw Howling Mines that game. There's no way you put the guy on taking Howling Mines out of his deck. It's the most important card to his strategy.
Or is it?
Apparently, when desperate times call for desperate measures, he has taken out the Howling Mines. He's just playing somehow. He's playing a bad aggro control deck. He's playing Counter Sliver with no slivers.
He's probably just going to win this game in a blowout, but still, it was fun to watch.
That was awesome. Hats off to you, Tiago Chan. Yeah, I want to hang out here. Let's watch another game of this. It's craziness. Try to get you an update on the Game 3 between Craig Jones and Olivier Ruel while these guys shuffle up for Game 4. There's Mark Herberholtz. Not feeling as good. I mean, you lose a game like that, and I think you just ignore it. You know, it's just like you don't understand quite how your opponent's strategy worked out. You just got to believe it can't work 3 times and play your game.
I'm pretty confident Mark will win this game. He's on the play. He mulliganed to 5 and blew him out in the first game. It is probably rattling, but, you know, who doesn't get their teeth shaken a few times on the way to winning? I mean, think about it like this. When you fireballed David Mills to death, you expected to be playing an X game, right?
I did.
Yeah, but it didn't happen. Your deck was better and you fireballed him to
death. All right. Sounds like we've got Jonathan Becker ready with an update on Game 3 between Jones and Ruel. Hey, Becker, what happened down there?
It looked like actually a pretty good fight for a while. Craig didn't have a ton of guys on the board. He was kind of flooded in the beginning, which isn't really good for a zoo deck. But eventually he got out a couple of smaller creatures in the Jitta. And the only things that all he could come up with was a Ghost Council, which seems really good, except he had no other creatures for like 6 turns. He had a Ghost Council and then a backup Ghost Council.
Okay.
And eventually he was just forced to start putting him in front of stuff and sacrificing them to prevent Jitta counters and stuff like that. But he couldn't draw for like 6 turns just a second man to to phase out the Ghost Council and buy himself a little bit more time.
So Craig got it done.
Yeah, Craig just whittled him down. Those last 6 or 8 points went 2 at a time instead of like Craig's usual burn to the head. It was just 2 points from a line that gets through, 2 points from an ape that gets through, and then there was just no creature there.
Wow, so Craig Jones takes a 2-1 lead. Olivier Ruel's got to win 2 straight if he wants to avenge his brother's loss.
Well,
Thanks, John. Go ahead.
He was sitting on the, remember, he was sitting 2 down last time with, had to win two games
point.
to look bad. So he, could definitely do it. But, Jones' deck's just so fast. It's got so much damage. It's really hard for him to set up. So he's going to have his work cut out for him, I think.
All right. Thanks, John.
Okay.
So bad draw and bad draw, he with the Jite wins. That's what we learned. I'm mana flooded. Same. I have a Jite. I don't. Good game.
Yeah, Olivier Ruel did have his back against the wall in the quarters, so he's very capable of winning 2 straight. Tiago Chan, on the other hand, I certainly will not count on 2 straight from him here. We shall see. He seems like very composed. I mean, concocting that crazy plan, winning that game.
I don't think the plan's not that great. Just look at his sideboard. Those are the cards that he has. Like I said, I mean, I didn't necessarily expect him to take out the key elements of his deck, but if you've got control magics and you've got Moloku, you're going to be siding them in this matchup, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's essentially a transformational sideboard. I guess that makes sense.
Go ahead.
Heezy did lose game 3 to Osip as well, and then just came back and crushed him in 4. Oh,
there. Frenzied Goblin, Scat Clan Mauler.
Go.
Pretty nice start from Mark Herberholz.
Once again, Tiago with double threads of Disloyalty Pyroclasm. And a Boomerang. I put him on winning this one.
Really?
I think so. He has a jillion cards in hand. He could just put a lift on Scab Clan Mauler, make Heezy replay it, and then cast Threads on it. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
3 cards.
I think that's what he's going to do. Takes 2. Pass. Despondent pass. Oscar nomination. Yep, there's the lift. This guy, no.
Pick up the 3-3.
But Tiago doesn't know that Heezy might play the 3-4 instead of the 3-3.
Oh.
Yep, see.
Wow. That is not nearly as good against Threads of Disloyalty.
A wrinkle. Actually, that little wrinkle might just win because none of the cards that Tiago's got are good against that.
Huh. Was it a mistake for him to Boomerang? Was that
no,
greedy?
I think that's the telegraph play. I think he doesn't know that he's going to have land 3-4. Like, he might miss his land drop. He might not have 3-4.
Okay.
I guess he's desperate enough that he's got to assume that he doesn't have the perfect draw because he knows he can't beat the perfect draw.
Now, this is going to be a devastating turn for Tiago. Double Watchwolf. And by Watchwolf, I mean Scab Clan Mauler.
So 9 power worth of creatures on Mark Herberholz's side of the board all of a sudden. And that Threads of Disloyalty got used up on a Frenzied Goblin. So nothing dies to Pyroclasm, and he does not have a second Threads, does he?
He has another one, yes.
Oh, he does have a second Threads. Second Threads, he has a Pyroclasm, he has a Sleight of Hand.
Nevertheless, I'm going to have to rescind my prediction that Tiago is going to win this one. And
uses the Sleight. Digs.
Like, if he doesn't get double Pyroclasm, I don't see him digging himself out of this.
Island, and I didn't see what the other card was. Plays land number 3 and
Threads pass.
Sure. Threads pass. So Tiago Chan's side of the board is now Threads of Disloyalty on Frenzied Goblin, Threads of Disloyalty on Scab Clan Mauler. Mark Herberholz has a Burning Tree Shaman and another Scab Clan Mauler, and he shoves them both into the red zone.
Double
He's
red zone.
perfectly willing to brawl. Does he have Skarg?
Skarg.
That's not. Is that the land on the right? On the top? I think it is. No, that was the Stomping Ground. Sorry. So Tiago double blocks Burning Tree.
Take 3.
Effectively trading the Scab Clan Mauler for it. Frenzied Goblin helps. Tiago takes 3 down to 10.
Then another burning
Pretty
tree's
good
gonna
block.
come down.
Certainly rather get the 3-mana creature off the board. But here's another Burning Tree Shaman.
And a 1.
Oh, and a Kurde for his trouble.
1.
Still nothing that dies to Pyroclasm. Mana Leak.
A Mana Leak.
Tiago does have Kami the Crescent Moon, which can block Kurde at least.
I hate the reactive cards.
Yeah. Meanwhile, on table 1, Olivier Ruel has turn 3 Teysa, turn 4 Ghost Council.
Oh, so he tapped out again. Nice.
He tapped out again. You're allowed to tap
Nice
out to
tap
cast
out.
it, I think. You just, after that. All right, Tiago played his Kami. Herberholt's shoved into the red zone. Kami blocks Kurdape, of course.
Okay.
Frenzied Goblin's going to chump that Burning Tree. Tiago falls to 7. It just feels like a losing battle. Herberholt's had a pretty solid draw, and just not a whole lot the aggro deck can do against a reasonable Gruul draw.
Draws 2. See, he has Flames of the Blood Hand in his hand. This is like 95% over.
Okay.
Exhaustion. Red zone.
16.
I mean, he's still going to cook him for 4 here, right? Regardless of the exhaustion? No.
Well, I mean, he could wait. He's got the same mana at the same time. Do a bait phase.
Flames you.
Flames would potentially drop Tiago to 3, and it does.
Go. 2.
What does Tiago need? How does he get out of this?
Well, that was a really good decision on the part of Mark. He can't.
He waited to play around Mana Leak.
Yeah, that was a really good play.
I agree.
He actually could conceivably have gotten 2 Pyroclasms, which, if he has them, he loses the game with the burn spell. So it's over. Utterly hopeless.
All right, Tiago's looking. Does have a sudden impact. And a Mana Leak, and a Kami, and a Pyroclasm, and a Boomerang. Boomerang let him survive a turn?
No. Remember, he has to
really.
play around a Char.
Okay.
So Heezy has a Char in his hand, and he declines to cast it there. He's trying to play around Mana Leak, which turns out Tiago Chan does have.
Okay.
Tiago forced to chump block a Scab Clan Mauler, take a Kurdape hit down to 1. You just go for Char here, right? With 3 mana up?
16.
Mark can just pass.
No, he plays Burning Tree Shaman instead. So he's got Char ready if Tiago ever lets down his Mana Leak card.
Yeah.
I don't think you should cast this.
Second Burning Tree
it's a Burning
Shaman's
Tree Shaman.
fine.
I thought it was a Char. He's going to Mana Leak that.
I would think so.
It's one of his few opportunities to even use the Mana Leak. So.
Right.
But actually, maybe he
7
won't.
land on Heezy's
He
side of the
actually
board.
has to have double Pyroclasm anyway. He's just going to let it stick.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's not the terrible.
Yeah, his only
play.
chance to win is to top deck Pyroclasm, so you may as well play to top deck Pyroclasm.
Okay. Cool.
He's over. Oh, throw in a sudden impact for fun.
14.
He's at 14 now.
Take 2.
Right. 1.
Needs to be Pyroclasm.
Pyroclasm.
I didn't see it. He doesn't look happy. No, it's a blue card. Eye of Nowhere.
Well, can he
That-
live through the turn?
He's got 1 Boomerang, 1 Kami. No.
Even if he does the double Pyroclasm, Mark just chars him to death.
Yeah, no, there it is. Tiago extends the hand. Congratulations, Mark Herberholtz. You are about to play for the Pro Tour Honolulu Championship. We're going to move our cameras up to the first
Just need to,
table.
like, untap
We're going to
second,
find
like,
out whether
play
Craig
around
Jones
doing
or Olivier Ruel will be squaring off against Herbie in the finals. Olivier Ruel, I hear, has the whole gang in the red zone.
Had a good hand for
Yeah.
I see a
It's
tapped
like, it's a
Isamaru
nightmare
on
matchup.
Craig Jones's side of the
this and
board.
Zero,
I see tapped Ghost Council, tapped Tesa, and looks like a counter, token with a counter on it. Maybe it's been haunted?
It's probably from Seize the Soul, I would
That's
think.
my guess, but I don't see a Seize the Soul in Ollie's graveyard.
It might be underneath something. Oh, wait, if it's haunting, is it removed?
Yeah, it's removed.
Nothing to like.
Oh, he has Tesa out. It might be a Tesa counter.
Yeah, Seize the Soul out of the game. That's what the token represents. Or the counter on the token. What's the life totals here?
3.
Oh, sorry.
It is
Oh, Craig's on
Yeah, I
3?
I'll stick my token.
Is Olivier on
Chase
1?
Ellery, second and face.
Not even sure that would matter.
Destroy Samaru.
Oh, Olivier's on 11.
Oh,
Wow.
no, it's on
Sack the
Destroy
token.
Isamaru.
Yeah.
Sacks the token, removing Ghost Council. He's going to get to drain for 1, and he gets the haunt.
So you go up to 12. That's 2.
Wow, and he gets a token back for his trouble.
Yeah, I did actually. It's just come back to the other turn. So 12 to 2. Go. Well, I would have done it anyway. But it's still not very simple.
Oh, Isamaru can't be destroyed. He's a white creature.
Oh, just the
Seize the
effect
Soul
from
only
the-
kills non-black, non-white creatures.
Oh, it's
It's anti-terror.
That is correct again, I'm sorry.
I don't think it makes a
Doesn't
great
see it
difference.
Hilarious.
I'm the one supposed to be making
Well,
the mistakes.
that could make a difference at this point.
Oh, he doesn't
I'm
get the
gonna
token.
tactics your end of turn anyway.
10-2.
Guerrilla Tactics. 2 to 10.
2 to 10 is, it's got Char. Char's useless. Jitsu? A glimmer
Well,
of
Craig
hope.
just top decked the Jitte.
It's a glimmer of hope.
Does it do enough?
Uh,
He has to send Isamaru,
He equips it right, sends Isamaru into the red zone. Isamaru gets eaten by Ghost Council.
right?
I probably Ollie will flip it out. Just
And
because.
then you get 2 tokens on Jitte.
No, I wouldn't let him have tokens on Jitsu. I
Well-
just flip out Ghost Council. You don't want him to gain life. And he only has 1 mana to work with at that point. But and at the same time, it's almost Craig's only play.
I mean, Craig could almost char Ghost Council, but he's at 2.
He's at 2.
If he was at 3, he could maybe. No, there it is. Craig realizes even with Umezawa Jitte, there's nothing he can do there. Craig Jones 2, Olivier Ruel 2. So Olivier Ruel forces Game 5 for the 2nd round in a row. Wow.
You don't even try there?
What was he going to do?
Maybe
There's no play.
Olivier will misplay. I mean, who knows? He tried to get a token out of the hunt thing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's better than picking up your cards.
All right. Well, these guys are going to shuffle up for Game 5. They're going to play 1 game, and the winner takes on Mark Herberholtz in the finals. Herberholtz as the beach house guy, the storyline just really works for me. Like the fact that those guys got together. I know he's not playing their deck. I know he didn't spend the whole month there, but it's still this Pro Tour could be won by one of the guys from the beach house. That'd be kind of cool, wouldn't it?
That'd be cool.
You had 1 mulligan then?
Anything around the beach is cool.
Meanwhile, while these guys shuffle up, I have promised previously to announce the winner of the player vote for the Magic Invitational. And I now have those votes. The votes have been tallied. And so, those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the players of the Pro Tour were given a ballot on Friday morning when they sat down for the player meeting. The ballot said, who would you most like to prepare with for an upcoming Pro Tour? Bunch of good candidates. A lot of people thought Tsuyoshi Fujita was the favorite. Antonino DeRosa was sort of hoping to get in. Maybe the Japanese vote gets split by Tomohiro Kaji and Tsuyoshi Fujita, and Ant can sneak in. Some other good candidates, Gabriel Nassif, Julian Naughton, Jerome Remy. The winner is, going to the Invitational, thanks to the players of Pro Tour Honolulu, Tsuyoshi Fujita. So congratulations, Tsuyoshi. He is through to the Invitational. Last year he went on the Resident Genius ballot. This year some other schmuck took that vote. So Mike Flores is going to be playing as the Resident Genius. Tsuyoshi goes through as the player's choice.
It's a different question than last year, right?
Yeah, last year was most feared side drafter. And Sam Gummersall was the pick. By the way, this vote was extremely close, as it turns out. I've got the results here. Tsuyoshi Fujita got 62 votes. Antonino DeRosa, second place with 56.
Who's in third?
Tomohiro Kaji with 48.
Oh, I thought it said Kai. And I was like,
Kaji.
really?
No, Kaji did get a lot of a lot of votes. The Japanese finished 1-3. But yeah, Tsuyoshi Fujita's got through on that ballot. Meanwhile, Antonino De Rosa, I know he's looking forward to the North American ballots. I think he's hoping that Osip will get the writer's vote, and so that he can win the North America ballot.
I mean, I think that the North American ballot, regardless of whether Osip wins the writer's vote, is going to be a blowout.
Yeah?
Ant's resume is fantastic on the last year.
Osip's very popular. And he went last year.
Up until this tournament, when was his last finish?
I don't think popular votes on MagicTheGathering.com are decided based on who is the most deserving. I'm going to go out on that limb. That does not appear to be what the viewers are voting for. It's an all-star game.
Fair enough.
People vote for who they like.
Fair enough.
Certainly, I mean, Antonino's got the goofy player card thing going on, too, which probably will cost him a few votes.
I hadn't thought about it that way. I mean, he's the reigning U.S. national champion, won some Grand Prix.
I agree. I think Antonino deserves to win that ballot. He's absolutely the guy I'll
Highly
be
underrated
voting
deck
for.
designer.
He's absolutely the guy I'll be voting for. But I think if Osip doesn't win the writer's ballot, that Osip will definitely, it'll be scary. I wonder how many, I mean, it would really suck for Antonino if he just finishes second for a third time. I mean, he finished second on one of the other ballots as well.
We were thinking, what about putting Ant on a European ballot? I mean, he's got the little Italian flag in the bottom corner, you know? Like, he's got, like, dual Pro Tour card citizenship.
Doesn't all come down to the North America ballot either. So
there's fan votes.
There's the fan favorites, and then there's the R&D pick. So the Europe ballot results will be announced on Friday, as will the writer's vote will also be announced on Friday. Then the American ballot goes up, and a week after that, the fan favorite ballot goes up, which lets 2 votes in, those 2, and then R&D has the last pick. So that's what's left for the Invitational. Should be a fun one. Shaping up to be a fun tournament.
You didn't vote in the writers' ballot this year, right?
No, I didn't have a ballot in the writer's vote.
No column, no ballot.
Who
would you have voted for in the writers' ballot?
Who would I have voted for? Best talent, best combination of talent
and personality.
Personality, probably Osip.
Osip, yeah?
Probably. I mean, Oiso's got the most talent on the ballot, but it also turns out he won the APAC slot, so he was already in. He was not in at the time the writer's ballot went out, so he's on the ballot, and I would have definitely thought about him because he's got the most talent on the list, but I probably would have voted for Osip just because, I mean, he's funny, he writes, he gives a lot back to the game in that sense.
I'm really surprised at that.
Why?
I thought you would have voted for Fedge.
I'm a gigantic Jeff Cunningham fan, but the thing is, he hasn't written in months.
He wrote enough.
He wrote the 3 best articles of last year.
What if you only write the Foundation trilogy? That's the only thing you ever wrote. All I wrote is the Foundation trilogy.
Fair.
Do I count as the greatest science fiction writer of all time? Because the Hugo people think that's. I mean,
I think the better analogy though, he wrote like the first book of the Foundation trilogy, and I'm just mad because I want the sequel.
Oh, he's George R.R. Martin. He's not Isaac Asimov.
Something like that. Anyway, I mean, Fedge is also a great player. I mean, I think he's very talented, but I think, even Osip is ahead of him there. I mean, he's not...
Osip is ahead of him there.
Masashi's clearly the most talented guy on the ballot. Osip's not... No, I don't know. I don't have the entire ballot memorized. I don't know if Osip's number 2.
Neil, Heasy...
Neil's amazing for talent. Neil's probably the second best player on the ballot. When he wants to play, that man can play some Magic. Anyway, that's what's up with the Invitational. Tsuyoshi Fujita has been officially voted in. Somebody, who do you think is going to get the Europe ballot? That's the one that's being voted on right now.
Yeah. I would have said, hold on a second. Is the judges' ballot been finalized?
Yes, Antoine Ruel.
I was going to say, I would have said Antoine
was
maybe,
voted in by the judges.
The judges voted in. I think that I would give it to Nassif now.
Nassif?
Yeah, Nassif almost won Resident Genius. So
right.
I
think Nassif is most likely to win. I think I personally will vote for Julian. I think Julian has been playing spectacular Magic. He keeps putting up Grand Prix results. He's proved that World Championship was no fluke. I mean, I might vote for Nassif. I mean, they're both great players. I hope they both find a way into the Invitational eventually.
Fair enough. My pick is Nassif.
It's a good one.
Fair enough.
Anyway, we'll see how the Invitational plays out. Just a couple weeks left to figure out who's going to be playing in the All-Star game. Meanwhile, looks like Craig Jones has presented his deck, and we'll head back to the floor to find out who's going to be playing in the finals of this Pro Tour.
I think Olivier just shipped.
Is he going in for Mulligan?
He's going.
Yes,
he's going back to Paris.
Have to get hit.
Olivier Ruel, the early trip back to Paris.
More lifetime pro points than Quentin. It's just a matter of principle.
Apparently, the first 3 land he saw at the top of his deck were land, Tesa, which sounds pretty good. Except the next 4 went land, Castigate.
You see me play?
So do you ship that? I guess playing first?
Whoa,
It's 5 land, castigate, Tesa. Is that what you said, Becker?
on the draw?
5 land, he's playing first.
Oh.
Olivier
He's playing
lost.
first.
I mean, he lost. Oh, no, he just won. You're right. He's
No.
playing. He's drawing. He just won game 4.
It's not that
5
bad.
land, castigate,
That
Tesa.
hand is that
It's
hand's
awfully slow. I think he's right to ship it in.
But it's got a
Against
lot of-
Zoo? Like you don't affect the board until you play a medium-sized creature.
Yeah,
on
but
turn
his
3.
I mean, I don't know if he has his rats and gargoyles in anymore, especially considering the fact that Craig's shown him guerrilla tactics. How much action does he have in the early game?
I guess he's got more than castigate.
I don't know. I mean, like Bob Marr is pretty bad.
All right, Olivier keeps this, and there's Plague Rusaka on the first turn. That seems like a much better start.
What do you think about taking 2?
To get down Plague Rusaka on the first turn?
Like I remember watching.
I like it. Kind of depends what's in his hand.
Like
Does he have a turn 2 play?
I remember watching Tsuyoshi play in LA, and he'd play against other red decks. He would just not make his drops in order to not take 2 points of damage.
Huh.
He'd just wait a turn.
There's another Plague Rusaka and a Basilica.
He kind of has to make those plays.
He had Godless Shrine, Basilica. That was his lands. I think you take 2. Hand of Cruelty also in his hand. I think he was hoping maybe Miza Swamp, drop that on turn 2.
Olivier is really against the ropes here, but we've seen him
Those Basilicas have not impressed me.
come back. Really, I disagree. I think they've been great.
Really?
Yeah.
It just always feels like he's playing them on turn 2 instead of affecting the board. I mean, I like the cards in general, but I think they're better control cards.
You know, this is really
It's like his deck is
interesting.
schizophrenic, right? It kind of has some beatdown, kind of wants to affect the board early, but it's also kind of a control deck, so.
I think this is really interesting. Look at how Craig's giving Ollie a chance back in. He missed his 3rd land drop. Like I would have said that if Craig hit his 3rd land drop, I think that Ollie would be hard pressed to win. But
do you take 2 more from a dual land in order to play Hand of Cruelty here?
I would. It's 3 more.
And burn for 1?
I would not. Apparently he would.
Apparently.
I would be tempted to castigate.
He's taking 3 from the watch wolf anyway.
I'd be tempted to chump block. Like life is so important in this matchup.
I'll burn for 1.
Hand of Cruelty, burn for 1. That's the play.
Yep.
Oh, you know,
Land on
Craig doesn't have Volcanic Hammer, does he? He can't Lightning Helix that. It's pretty difficult to remove, even if he draws a red.
Craig has Bathe in Light,
I think Craig's
Guerrilla Tactics, Shock.
play might be just Bathe Black Smash 6.
Bathe Black Smash 6 doesn't suck. Still no 3rd land.
It's half of Ollie's life.
Yep.
When his red comes back online, you know, the world changes.
Oh, there's no red man on Craig's
Yeah.
board. That's right.
I think Bathe Smash.
Yeah, he does. His only other option is play Isamaru. Nah, Bathe, Smash for 6.
And rip a red
Burn
carry.
him. Smash.
Bathe.
Go black.
Yep.
That's the kind of play
Crunch.
that makes you slump, right? No apparent kill in play, but he just blows a card and attacks
Craig
you.
bows down to his Bathe in Light. Yeah, that card has been spectacular for him all weekend. Oh, is he begging his deck for a red mana?
Does it either one wins?
I see. Yeah, the deck delivers up another Bathe in Light. That's better than a mountain.
Ollie kind of needs Jitte. Kinda, a lot. He needs Jitte or he needs Craig to stay mana screwed.
Right. Red mana ends the game, I think.
Craig's just got... He's British. He's got tons and tons of overload damage. Ollie... Mana burning again is just not exciting here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know, they're sort of comfortable there.
I'll take a seat.
Oh, that's a good castigate. I think there's a Char in his hand, so... Isamaru doesn't
Birdape,
have
Isamaru, Guerrilla Tactics, Shock. Is that Char or is that Flames? Oh, Tin Street Hooligan.
Thanks.
It would be ironic for him to take
Tactics?
Guerrilla Tactics, yeah. It's like
It RFGs and doesn't trigger.
I
right?
elect not to take 4.
What would you take here?
I think I would take Shock.
I might take Isamaru.
Really?
Can you win the game if he ever draws a mountain? It kind of depends how much more discard he has, but like you could just play. Can he win the game if Craig draws a mountain? That's what Ollie's got to ask himself. If the answer to that question is no, then just take
There's
the
not
Isamaru.
that much burn there. He can chump block the other Watchwolf. That's what the thing that's relevant.
So then tactics or shock?
Not looking good.
He has to manage the game in such a way that he can win. Now,
Yes.
if he gets an Umezawa's Jite, despite the fact there's a 10th Street Hooligan, it's 4 life.
Mm-hmm.
And he can play that game. But if he's on 6, right?
Yes.
He can't let him have 4 burns, 4 points of burn. That means every single creature is lethal. He has to either play for I ripped an Umezawa's Jite,
Really?
and just look at the Umezawa's Jite is just like the world's worst space fetters. Or, give up.
I mean, maybe Ollie can survive a mountain. 2 burn spells.
I think he can survive
will drop
a
him to
mountain.
2. He's got another Hand of Cruelty
He has
in
to
his
draw a life
hand.
game.
Oh, he has Seized the Soul with Rusaka. That's
Seize
kind of
the
like
Soul
the
doesn't do
spells.
anything.
Uh,
Those
Fun
creatures
with
are
Rusaka.
white.
Kurdave's not.
Ollie's taking shock. If he's taking shock, does that mean he doesn't have Ravenous Rats in his deck anymore?
Okay.
Because they're basically the same card.
Go.
Oh. Still no.
Don't be a bathe. And it's a red.
It's red mana. I guess technically he doesn't die to bathe because Plague Rusaka means he could only take 5.
No.
There's Stomping Grounds. Ollie not happy about it.
Take 2. He's not going to not kick 10th Street Hooligan, is he? Oh, certainly not.
Tactics away the hand. Crunch with the Watchwolves.
I think that's match.
Ollie, yeah, he gave one of the -1/-1 when the Hand of Cruelty
Yeah.
went away. He's going to double block with the others. At the least take out a Watchwolf.
Take 3.
Falls to 3 due to that other Watchwolf hit.
16.
And now here comes Isamaru.
Covenant.
Ollie's at 3.
Probably game.
There's Tin Street and one other card in Craig's hand. Swamp off the top. Oh, it's Kurdape is the other card. Kurdape and Tin Street.
16 to 3.
Hand of Cruelty comes down. Tech, I guess Olivier's hoping to block Watchwolf, take 2 down to 1. I don't know if he has any other play.
Maybe Craig will just draw nothing. It seems horrible for Olivier.
Go.
The all red green top 2 might be really fun to watch though.
Yeah, it's Zoo versus Gruul. Mark Herberholz is. I think he's rooting for Craig Jones here. And yeah, it's going to be Little Monsters against Little Monsters in the finals. Looks like.
It would have been Little Monsters either way.
Ollie's deck's trying to be control-ish and card advantage-y.
Like with
The other two decks just brawl.
I like attacking. But Ollie's going to be blocking here. This is a difficult decision. I mean, we don't know what Craig's drawn, but it seems like launching with both guys and playing Kurdape as the backup guy can't be bad.
Kurdape and Isamaru. Oh, no. Kurdape, yeah, okay.
That's just not a bad,
But I mean,
bad play.
It's either that or Guy Go.
Geigo seems a lot worse to me. Like, more bad stuff can happen on Geigo. Like, what if he rips Ghost Council?
He drew a Temple Garden. So he's got Tin Street, Kurdape, and Temple Garden. Yeah, basically his spell for the turn is going to be 1 red monster.
Wait,
presumably a Kurdape.
if he launches and it's 2-on-2, then Ollie can play another blocker stuck on 1. He needs life gain. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, I think I like Guy Go better here, honestly. I don't think those 2 points of damage are worth losing to Watchwolf for.
And
I mean, you probably have that option again on the next turn, right?
it's
Trade
pretty,
Watch
it's pretty
Wolf
much
for 2
lethal
damage.
here now, right? Unless all he has
Well,
to have
all he
something
needs another
relevant.
blocker, or I guess a removal spell.
Oh no,
could
he
put the
has
jobs on.
Seize the Soul. So he puts Hand of Cruelty in front of Watchwolf,
Right.
seizes the
Curd Ape.
Curd Ape, blocks
Haunts.
Isamaru. And blocks Isamaru. And if there's no red card,
I'm sorry?
Seize the Soul puts a token into play.
Oh, right.
So he can block Isamaru and kill Watchwolf, and then he can just.
This is why you wanted him to serve.
Yeah, this isn't any better. I think Ollie should pass because that is the most likely origin of a mistake on the part of Craig.
He
See-
doesn't. He
Now Craig's not going to extend. Like, Ollie actually loses a card. He could have picked up the Watchwolf.
He's worried about Bathe and Light, maybe? Doesn't want to have one draw phase for Bathe and Light?
What's the difference? A one drop. Craig's got 14 outs in his deck at least.
Yep. So is that a sorcery, maybe? I don't know if it's an instant or a sorcery.
No, it's an instant.
All right.
Go.
Oh, Basilica.
Oh,
That's what it
Basilica.
is. He wanted to be able to play the Basilica. Yeah, he actually missed a land drop a couple turns ago because he had Basilica in hand and he didn't want to pick up either the other Basilica or the dual land.
Want to kill my mirror with your again?
Craig's got to be a little frustrated now. He missed his land drop. Finally got to red. He still hasn't been running burn spells.
Yeah, he just shifts it back. Wow.
Ollie
Suddenly it's a game.
desperately needs Umezawa's Jitte.
How
Even
about
though there's
Char? Yeah.
even though there's a Tin Street Hooligan and
All right. So it's
Is it-
Isamaru and Watchwolf for Craig Jones. He's also got 4 lands against a Seize the Soul generated token enchanted with Seize the Soul, haunted by Seize the Soul and Hand of Cruelty.
he's got Jitte. What he's got to do is, if he has a discard card, if he can, is there enough mana? Oh, he has 2 Basilicas.
Yeah. 2
So he could
Basilicas.
conceivably go like
He's got 6 mana.
Castigate-ish card, removing Tin Street Hooligan, bring for 4.
Yeah, Ollie knows there's a 10 Street Hooligan in Craig's hand, so Ruel did just top deck Umezawa's Jitte. But
Actually, this,
ideally, he'd love to have it even survive the 10 Street Hooligan.
this isn't half bad. Ollie can play Jitte on the hand, bring with the hand,
Okay.
and then re-equip and pass.
Or vice versa.
Or vice versa.
So he plays Jitte, equips,
Which is
serves.
See, I don't like that one as much because he would be able to get the haunt to kill the inevitable Tin Street Hooligan the other way.
It's fine.
No, but this way he's up Jitte counters.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And that token flies, so...
Oh, the
it's
token
just-
flies.
Yeah, the token
Yeah.
flies.
I'm sorry, my
That,
bad.
mirror token is confusing.
Oh, yeah, that's why. It's because the token flies.
Can we use different colours for the GT2?
Yeah, why? Would I need this? Would I use this GTA very long? Yeah.
15-3.
Wow, those Jitte counters are just gigantic here. I mean, even just 2 counters might be enough. 10 Street Hooligan's going to nail it, but Ollie can gain some life, get himself out of char range, he can kill 10 Street.
Ollie almost has to take 2 life now because, like, what if he tries to gain life and then at that point that Craig's drawn a burn spell?
Right.
I think he has to take at least 2 now. Do you agree?
Well,
This is
shock and tactics are not
really
lethal.
dangerous.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Char is...
Blood Hand. Oh, he probably doesn't have Blood Hand.
I mean, he had 3 mana up, so he could Flames as a response, which would be catastrophic.
No, I'm just talking about cards he can peel.
I understand, but what if Craig had Flames of the Blood Hand in his hand? I guess he would have already died if that
Yeah,
was the
he
case.
would have already tried to kill him.
Get some green and red.
Okay. Now, we
Tin
knew
Street
Tin Street
does come down to kill the Jitte.
Now, he's
So I
just
think
gonna-
you gain 2 life and then kill 10 Street and call it good.
No, I disagree. I think you gain 4 life.
Really?
Yeah, 4 life is much better because he can use the Seize the Soul token to kill Tin Street. He nets 2 life that way. The Seize the Soul token chump blocks Isamaru or Watchwolf with Hand of Cruelty killing the other one, and then he takes 2, and the token
okay.
kills Tin Street.
Olivier Ruel agrees with you. He wants to be at 7.
Yeah, it's net 2 life is a big deal. It's like I said, like, it's the world's worst space fetters, but it's the only thing that can get him out of a hole where...
Big difference between 7 and 3 against the Zoo deck. No question about it. Gigantic difference.
The way he pumped his fist makes me think he just ripped another Jitte or something.
Did he?
I don't know. He ripped something?
Sound good.
Robert Maher. Ooh, Rusalka.
Dark Confident. Oh, Plagued Rusalka.
Rusalka's huge here.
Yeah. What do you...
If for no other reason, he can launch Dark Confident at a creature.
He now has instant ability to kill the token, too, right?
Yeah.
He can Rusalka Tin Street and then have the Haunt kill Isamaru. Oh, it's a white creature. It only kills red creatures. I think forgetting that part.
Does he red zone with both hand and the spirit, or just one of them?
I don't think he would attack with the spirit. It's only one.
He can't give Craig a million... Craig himself has Umezawa's Jitte. He has a billion burn spells he can draw. He has to constrain the amount of turns that are left. Rusalka allows him to control the tempo of the game to a great degree.
If he attacks with both...
I think he's going to attack with both.
Wow.
The Rusalka allows him... He basically gets a banishing out of it. Mm-hmm. He can, like, go block and banish.
But he only banishes Tin Street.
But it's fine.
Like 12-7.
Go. Alright, Ollie trying to deal damage as quickly as possible. Does not want to let Craig Jones draw off the top of his deck for very long.
Not an excited top deck on the part of Craig.
No. Craig's got Tin Street Hooligan, Isamaru, and Watchwolf. His opponent is at 7. Ollie has Plague Rusalka, a flying 1/1 token haunted by Seize the Soul. He's got Hand of Cruelty, and he's got Dark Confidant. Now, if you're Ruel, are you going to let Bob draw you some cards?
I think you let Bob draw you one. Chances are it doesn't kill you. But I don't think more than one. I mean, if it flips a land, then maybe another one. But I think that you let Bob stick around once. He's 7's pretty... There's a lot of life.
Dark Confidant, of course, is Bob Maher's invitational card, so everybody just calls him Bobby. Isamaru heads into the red zone. Interesting.
He's daring a trade with Robert. And the trade. For Robert and...
I think everyone in the room now knows that Craig Jones has another Isamaru in his hand.
And the Tin Street.
Yep.
Smart.
I'm not... Would you do that if you're Craig? Honestly, if I'm Craig, I think I want Dark Confidant in play.
I would not have played Kurt Ape.
I think you want Ollie to risk some Dark Confidant draws.
I think Kurt Ape just gives him another thing to shoot at. Olivier's fantastic at reading his opponents, by the way. It's something I noticed about him this week. The only thing he gets out of Kurt Ape is the ability to block Hand of Cruelty. And it's not even a good block. Another double red zone.
9.
A second Rusalka. The second Rusalka is not nearly as good as the first one.
Still, I mean, it's a guy. It's food for the first one.
Chumpy.
Is Olivier Ruel actually going to win this game?
I think he might.
It's 9-7.
It was all about that Jitte, just the 4 life.
Uh-huh.
Olivier certainly seems to be drawing better than Craig.
Funny. In the forums, Cadet Master had already declared Jones is moving on. He just took it back. It's not over yet.
Olivier is played out of these deep holes both rounds.
Yeah.
Now, he's down where he has to win back-to-backs, and then in the game 5s, if not game 4s, he looks like he's just going to lose.
Olivier Ruel he's been attacking each turn with Hand of Cruelty and that flying token. He's attacked for 3 a couple times, played Rusalka, took out a Tin Street Hooligan last turn. Now it's Kurt Ape, Watchwolf, Isamaru against 2 Plague Rusalkas, a flying token, and Hand of Cruelty. Jones is contemplating his attack, shuffling his creatures. I mean, the defense on the other side of the board is just a couple Plague Rusalkas.
No, he has banish anytime he wants.
Those Rusalkas definitely give him some options. The banish basically only takes out the Kurt Ape.
But he gets another token.
He gets a token, so...
You go pre-block, kill Kurt Ape, get a token.
Craig decides not to attack. He just says go.
Ollie drew.
Ravenous Rat.
Seems fine. It's fodder.
Same attack. Hand of Cruelty in that token, serve. Move into the red zone. Knock Craig down to 3. Back out. And now, yeah, here comes Ravenous Rat. Craig's only card was a land.
Go.
Craig top decks something red.
Char, a little late.
Would have worked if it wasn't for that Jitte.
He can't even triple red zone here. He's only on 6.
Yep.
Pretty soon that Char is going to be a blank because from 6 life he takes 4 again.
Yeah, I think he basically is just going to have to spend some mana to Char and then hope to top deck.
He might just have
3
to
damage.
Char the Hand of Cruelty.
He's not going to win that way. I think he goes into chump block and hopes to top deck a second burn spell mode. Yeah, I think he just goes into chump block mode and hopes to draw another burn spell.
He can only chump block once, though.
Oh, well.
Well, I mean, he top decks Hand of Cruelty.
He's got 2 red sources now, though, right?
Yeah.
But only 5 lands. He's going to be kicking himself if that Ravenous Rat took out the land that he needs to cast 2 burn spells.
Well, no, he just goes ahead and fires one.
-1/-1. Effect from Sizzle Soul.
Alright, Olivier sacrifices that token to Plague Rusalka, shrinking an Isamaru and killing Kurt Ape. Presumably, yeah, he now sacrifices the Ravenous Rat as well to finish off Isamaru. Craig maybe should have chump blocked 1 turn earlier. Now he's been denied the chance. He's down to a lone Watch Wolf. Ollie's gonna bring, looks like everybody, 2, 3, 4, 5 potential power. Nah, sends 3 of it. Protection from white means Craig does not have the option to chump block here.
Craig's going to Char that.
Oh, he chars Ollie's face. You char to the face and knock the top of your deck. That's the play. Craig's down to 3. He's down to 3. He's got 1 draw phase. He's looking at the top. All right, Char. Char you. I like the play. The crowd is into it.
Smash it.
What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my God! Oh my God! Craig Jones is through the finals! Oh my God! Oh, he collapses. Craig Jones is jumping up and down. The crowd here has gone ballistic.
If Ollie had attacked with all of his Rusalkas like we initially thought he would, that play would have been impossible.
Oh, wow! Oh, wow!
Should Ollie have attacked with all of his Rusalkas?
Does that work? Doesn't Watch Wolf just attack back at that point?
He would sack all of his attacks to kill one.
I'm a bit drained.
First of all, it's not lethal.
Unbelievable! Oh my God! The spirit of the mountains is strong with that one.
He was due to draw, though, right?
Wow! Oh, back-to-back turns. Top decks Char, top decks Lightning Helix. Craig Jones wins an exhausting 5-game match from Olivier Ruel. The 2-time Road Warrior is going to have to satisfy himself with a semifinal exit. He's going to have to satisfy himself with $15,000 cash. He's not going to get the pro points for first place. He's not going to get the first place trophy, but Olivier Ruel is picking up right where he left off last season, doing well at every event, through to the semis. unbelievable. It took a miraculous top deck. From Craig Jones.
How about a memorable top deck?
Miraculous. How was that not miraculous?
What burn spells did he draw that game? Like, finally he drew a burn spell?
He had nothing. Ali had played the game to deny him as many top decks as possible, and then on back-to-back turns, he goes Char, Lightning Helix. That's Lecanto pulling the Swords to Plowshares. That's Kai pulling the Morphling.
If Ali had
It's
attacked...
a semifinal. I mean, it's not the finals. The other
if
two are
Ali
the
attacked
finals.
with all his Rusalkas,
Yeah,
Watchwolf kills one, right?
right.
And does
Then
he take...
Watchwolf can swing back.
But he can nug Watchwolf, so it's not lethal even if he has a Char.
I mean, he loses to the Helix anyway.
He can't cast the Char.
He goes Lightning Helix Char. He wins anyway. Yeah, because he top decks Lightning Helix. He doesn't play the Char, but then he draws Lightning Helix and he says, Lightning Helix you, gain
Helix
3,
char
char
you.
you. So it's the same thing.
That's fair.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, Ali was thinking about it, but he figured it out too. It doesn't matter. Oh, my God. Wow.
That was memorable.
That was fun. That was spectacular. Craig Jones is going to be playing against Mark Herberholtz in the finals.
You think Heezy's happy about that?
I think so. I think Heezy's got the chance, but I mean, I would not bet against Craig Jones after that top deck. Wow.
That's a good one.
That was spectacular.
Do you think he's going to change his mind about what he's doing?
We are going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to let you guys watch a little bit of the footage we recorded earlier about the Hawaii house, the Magic House, where Mark Herberholtz spent a couple of days. He's going to be trying to win the finals on behalf of the Magic House. Craig Jones is going to be trying to win it on behalf of English players who have run mountains in formats for many, 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 many years. We're going to go catch our breath, and we should be ready for the Pro Tour Honolulu Championship match in about 10-15 minutes. You will not want to miss it. This has been a great day. For Mike Flores, I'm Randy Bueller. We will see you shortly.